What's up? Here we go. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing about the reach house music has evolved through its inception. Now, of course, everybody knows that house music came from the US by way of Chicago, but we're going to discuss about other countries that has embraced this music called house in their own unique way. Now, we're going to focus on five different countries that embrace house music in a way that you may or may not know, or it may surprise you. So, without further ado, first we're going to get to the introduction. Let's do it. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, everyone. I happen to be Househeadspeakz, and welcome to another Monday rant and discussion. As I say, had to turn that volume down. As I mentioned through the through my intro, we're going to be discussing five different countries that have embraced house music. Now, each country is unique in its own way, but you're going to find that they probably focus on maybe a certain genre or several genres, what have you. I'm wearing my underground dance music shirt, so this is appropriate for me to do this. So, before we start, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know we'll be doing when we're doing another Monday rant and discussion. So without further ado, this time, not like last time, this time I make certain that I have the presentation for the subject at hand. So let's get to it. Okay, five countries that embrace house music. And as you see, the countries, you know, not not in particular order. I have it at the order that I have, different from what you see here. But as you notice, we're talking about Germany, we're talking about the UK, talking about the US, we're talking about South Africa, and we're talking about Spain. Like I said, each country is different. Their approach to house music is different, but it all evolves into one simple umbrella. It's all about house music. It's all about underground house music. It's all about the house music genre as a whole. So let's take a deep dive into each country. Let's go. Okay, here we go. First, before I mention a little intro here. Here are five countries that have deeply embraced underground house. And when I said deeply embraced, I mean deeply embraced. Sorry, embraced. Okay. Each contribute its own unique flavor, culture, and community to the global scene. Like I was saying before, each country is going to be different. Not one country will not be the same, will not have the same approach or have the same embrace of house music as the other country, which makes it so beautifully unique. Reason being is because house music itself is a unique genre. You never know what you're going to get from it. You know, there are there are a vast amount of different subgenres, some genres that you may or may not be familiar with. I know I'm not familiar with all of them, but in essence, we're going to get right down to the nitty gritty. So let's start with the first country. Let's visit it. And the first country, of course, is the U.S. Okay. Now, I'm sure that everybody knows where house music originally from. Yes, from the US. Specifically, my home city, my hometown, the Chi-Town, Chicago. Okay? Okay. Now, why does this city, you know, so enriched with this music, embrace itself? Okay. Chicago remains the spiritual home of house music. Now, we saying home of house music. Now, of course, like I said earlier, house music has evolved since the 80s. But if you go anywhere around the world and you ask anyone, well, what do you think? What's the one city that you can mention is when you think of house music? What city embodies that? In mass, everyone should say Chicago. If they don't, well, maybe some biases there, but for the most part, they should mention Chicago. Okay. Strong support of independent DJs, producers, and community driven events. That's true. Okay. Legendary venues, warehouse parties, and grassroots collectives include to include to thrive. I personally was involved in a block club party just this past Saturday, and we had like a not so silent disco on one end, and we had the actual block party on the other end. So we had two. We was playing. We was playing whatever genre of house or music that we wanted to. So it was a beautiful thing to know that Chicago is that particular city that will embrace multi genres of underground house music. Okay, events like the Chicago House Music Festival, which is coming up in about another, I think, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it should be coming up next week. Yeah, I think it starts next week. So that next weekend, it's going to be a big deal. Okay. Celebrates the culture every year. That's true. Now, the sounds Classic House, Jackin House, Soulful House, Deep House. There are other sounds of house music that embraces here in Chicago. I mean, we're talking about Jackin House. We're talking about Ghetto House. We're talking about, I mean, the list goes on and on because most of the house genres was originated here in Chicago and just branched out to other places. Now, other places may have formulate and evolved into whatever genre they so selected, but do not kid yourself. This is the place, Chicago, is where house music has started. It's the it's the starting engine, okay? Like I said, like they said here, spiritual home of house music. So so that should cover the US. So off to the next country. UK. London to be exact. Well, one of the places in London to be exact, and other places in London as well. But let's talk about the UK. One thing I know about the UK as far as house music, I know Acid House and Garage House was one of the big facting genres out there in the UK. They embrace others as well, so we're gonna get right to it. Okay, United Kingdom, the UK has one of the most the world's most passionate underground house communities. I can vouch for that because by me being a Twitch DJ, I have met and heard um, different DJs who's from the UK and their playing style. I love it. It's amazing. Okay. Now, why does the UK embrace this house music? Okay. Massive club culture dates back to acid house explosion in the late 1980s. Like I said, acid house became huge out there in the UK. Strong support for independent labels and underground promoters. Trust me, that's true. I mean, most of the music that I have collected through the years have came from the UK. House remains a staple in cities such as London, Manchester, and Liverpool. Now, within the span of the UK, they have the three major cities that embodied house music. And we're talking about London, we're talking about Manchester, and we're talking about Liverpool, which if you have know about the UK's history, those are the three major cities out there. Okay, which London is their biggest. Okay, now the sounds they do, it's deep house, minimal house, garage, and tech house. And and if you have heard or listened to any DJ in the UK, now some have dabbled in disco house, you new disco, um, Jackin sounds as well. So don't ruffle the feathers there. There are some DJs that have dealt with those genres, but for the most part, the sounds that I mentioned are a UK staple, especially when it comes to acid house. Okay, now we finna go off to another country. Let's do it. Shout out for South Africa. South Africa. Now, one genre that always come to mind when we're talking about South Africa, and that is, of course, Afro House, Tribal House. I mean, Black Coffee. Does that particular DJ producer ring a bell? To me, he's like one of the first mainstream South African house DJs that really brought that genre out into the mainstream, into the forefront. Okay, South Africa. South Africa has become one of the strongest house music markets on the planet. Now, I ain't said the strongest, it says one of the strongest. Okay, now why does South Africa embrace house music? Okay, here we go. House music is woven into mainstream and underground culture alike. Local DJs and producers have developed global respected sounds. That is true. Like I said, like I mentioned before, Black Coffee. Huge demand for all night dance events and community gatherings. Okay, the sound from South Africa, of course, Afro House, Deep House, Soulful House, Tribal House. Okay, now their key cities that really embodies house music in that country are Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban. Now I don't know that much about Durban, but of course I am familiar with both Joburg, which the South Africa is called Johannesburg, and Cape Town. Now those are the two major ones that I am familiar with when it comes to South Africa and their, especially in their tribal and their Afro sounds. Okay, you know, when it comes to that, they are immeasurable, very powerful music. And as a person who adores tribal, Latin, and I'm sorry, Afro house, I love when I can get my hands on a South African producer doing their doing their sounds. It's just so unique. It's so different than other sounds that's out there. They really focus on the rhythm and the beats and the drums. I mean, you don't have a soul if you cannot get into Afro house or tribal house. Just putting that out there. Okay. On to the next country. Shout out for Deutschland. Germany. I was stationed there years ago, and I always have a love for Germany. I mean, when I lived in that country, it has I have nothing but good memories of it. I haven't been back since 2000. I've always trying to make my way back, but you know, I know one day I will be visiting back to Germany. So, but let's not get off track here. Okay, Germany, Deutschland. Germany is often associated with techno, which is true, but don't get it twisted. Okay, but its underground house scene is equally influential. I mean, for example, oh my God, great. I had this DJ and producer in my mind and I just lost it. But she was from Chicago and she moved to Berlin. And since that time, she has been blowing up all over Germany and good parts of Europe. I don't, I can't get her name right now, but I probably will put it into the comment section so I can let you so you can be familiar with who I'm talking about. But if you know who I'm talking about, please sign off in the comments. Okay, why does Germany embraces house music the way they do? Okay, deep respect for DJ culture and long form sets. That's true. Okay, strong club infrastructure. I'm sorry, infrastructure, and dedicated music audience. Now, I'm gonna give you a little tidbit when it comes to say cult, strong club infrastructure. Years ago, Germany, the whole country of Germany, has made it so that mostly every club, especially in major clubs, there is under the guise of, I would say, historical landmarks, which means they can't be brought down, which is amazing how much love they have for their club culture and for their underground dance music culture. You got to give kudos to countries who does that. Okay, underground events often prioritize music over celebrity DJs. And from what I know and heard from my fellow DJs out there in Germany, they do a lot of underground events there. Okay, they sound is a deep house, minimum house, organic house techno hybrid. Now, if you're not familiar with the techno hybrid, think of peak time, think of hypnotic sounds because I that's the type of techno I play. Why? Because I can do my long blends, I can do my great transitions, so I don't have to worry about you know dropping or anything like that. I can just blend it on, and those are the type of techno sounds that I familiarize with and play to this day. Also there's some good tech house DJs that comes from Germany. Also, there's some good disco, new disco, and of course funky sounds and jackin sounds that's in Germany as well. Shout out to DJ Paco and the crew out there at 54house.fm, which I've been a part of for a little going on. I say about 3 years now. So, I have to figure out actually when I started so I can let my next radio show there. I do a monthly show for that station, so I can announce of when my anniversary is going to be. Now, for the key cities, of course, the usuals: Berlin, Hamburg, Cologne. Okay. Now, I don't know. Now, there's other cities out there that you have Frankfurt, you have Stuttgart, you have München, which people here call Munich. You know, you have others. So not not sure that those particular cities may embrace house music. Some may embrace more of the techno side. Some may embrace more of the top 40 side. But do my research. These three cities are the ones that do embrace the actual underground house music genre. So we're gonna stick to that. Okay, on to the next city, España, Spain. Now, now in my Twitch world, there's a great number of DJs that comes from Spain. One in particular, he's a producer as well. His name is he goes by Ford Deluxe Music. He is an incredible DJ. He's an incredible producer. He's an incredible person. I've always enjoy his sets when he goes live on Twitch, and usually he's involved in some of the raid trains that I'm involved in, and there are times where I have played before him or he have played before me, and it's always a good time when that happens. So, shout out to you for Deluxe. Okay, Spain has become one of Europe's premier destinations for underground house music, and you're gonna know where I'm going through in a moment. Why Spain embraces house music so? Okay, year-round club culture. That's the number one key right there. Club culture in Spain is year-round. Period. Strong connection to international house labels and artists. There's a great number of the major DJs and producers that plays in Spain. Okay, home of some of the world's most respected underground venues and festivals. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Sound, deep house, tech house, Afro house, melodic house. They have other sounds as well, but these are like their major ones. Now, the key areas. Now, we didn't say cities, we say areas. And there's a reason why they use area for this one. Barcelona and Madrid are the major cities that's in Spain. We know that. But the last one is not in the city of Spain. It's in another island off into the Mediterranean Sea, close to Spain. And what that island's called? Ibiza. Why that particular name so important? Ibiza is synonymous with underground dance music and club culture in Europe. Period. I mean, me personally, that's that place is on my bucket list is to go. Either to play there or to just attend there. But I want to be in Ibiza. I heard so many great stories about the place. I know so many great major players that's played there. I know DJs personally who has played there. It's the place that any DJ who wants to make their mark, if they can say that they played at Ibiza, the floodgates will open for 'em. I'm just putting it out there. Okay. I think this was my last city. We'll find out. Let's go. Now, there were some honorable mentions, but I didn't mention it here, and I'm not even going to post it there because I feel as though the crux of this subject should be about the actual countries that definitely has a foothold in house music. Okay. For a DJ focused on house, disco, and Afro house, soulful house, and underground culture, these five countries consistently offer some of the strongest crowds, scenes, festivals, and opportunities to connect with authentic house music communities. I don't think I need to say anything else on this. I believe the I believe what we have here pretty much writes itself. Writes itself. You know, we're gonna come back here. Wow, looks like I'm about to be good and hit my 30-minute mark today, which is awesome. Now, of course, I'll be putting everything that you have seen here will be at the description box below, so you can read it yourself. And of course, if you have other questions, or if you want me to do a subject matter about the honorable mentions when it comes to cities, because come to countries, because it may be a country that you're in, and you might feel a little slight that it wasn't mentioned here. I'm more than willing to do that, but you got to sign up in the comments and let me know if you want that. If you want that, I can make that happen. Okay? So, again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being here today. And we're going to wrap this up in a bow and make sure we send you guys off to another productive work week. So, again, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I am doing another Monday rant and discussion. This is Househeadspeakz coming to you live from the Chi-Town, Chicago. Wishing everybody again a happy work week. For those who are in Twitch, please note I will be playing for Twitch DJs New Disco, Funky, Jack and Ray Train. That'll be tomorrow. My the actual Ray Train starts at 5 p.m. Central Time. That's 6 p.m. Eastern Time. My set time will be at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, I think I said enough. So, like I said, this is Househeadspeakz coming to you live from the Chi-Town, Chicago. Wishing everybody again a happy work week. And as always, peace and love.